Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an interesting React.js project. Again, we are going to build an app which fetches data from an external source, and we're going to display a nice cocktail inside the browser. We're going to learn how to use useEffect, useState, and useCallback hooks along with Axios. So let's see a demo of what we are going to build right now. And the project we are going to create is this one right here. We can click this button and we can get some random cocktails from the CocktailDB API, which is very cool, and we can get more and more and more. We're gonna learn how to use useState, useEffect, and useCallback hooks, and how to fetch data with Axios. So let's see what we can create inside Visual Studio Code right now. Right, so I have installed a brand new project with npx create React app, and I have started my development server, and we can see what we have right here inside the browser. The default stuff coming from React.js. So right now, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install a package that we will use today, and this is Axios. So inside the project, we can open another terminal. I have done this already. And we can say npm install Axios. We're gonna install Axios, and the API we are going to use today is the CocktailDB. So TheCocktailDB.com. It's a very nice API that you can use, and basically is giving you a lot of options. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. So we're going to use this API, but we will come back later right here. Let's quickly open VS Code again and start doing some stuff inside the app.js right here. So the thing that I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna delete everything inside this div, and I'm gonna import a couple of hooks coming from React right here. So I'm gonna say import useState and useCallback from React, just like that. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna create our state. So first state we'll create will be const loading, and we're gonna say set loading, and we will make this by default to be equal to useState, and the initial state here will be false. Then I'm going to create also const data and set data, and that's going to be useState, which is going to be an empty array, just like that. And we can see that the Axios here has been installed, so I can remove this terminal right here. And what we will do also, we will remove this import of logo. We don't need this. And we will do the following. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to say const URL, and we will copy the URL of our API. So I'm going to open the browser, and we're going to use this one. Look up a random cocktail. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it right here as our URL. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function, and we will use the useCallback. So I'm going to say const fetch cocktail handler, and that's going to equal to useCallback, right? Which takes a callback function and also has an array of dependencies. And right here we will include something in a moment, and we will import Axios right now. So I'm going to say import Axios from Axios. All right. And we're going to do the following. So when we click the button, and by default, we will have when the app is loaded, we're going to have the data fetched and we're gonna see a drink. But whenever we click the button again, we'll have to fetch it again. So the way we will do this is by saying Axios, so we're gonna say set loading first. So set loading will be true. And then we're gonna say Axios.get, and right here we'll pass the URL just like that, and that returns a promise, and we're gonna catch this with then, and we will get the response from the API, and I'm gonna console log this response just to see what we have. So console log res.data, and if we have an error, of course, we can say dot catch, and we can console log the error as well. So I'm going to say console log the error, and finally when everything is fetched, when the promise has fulfilled, we're going to say set loading to be false, just like that. And I can show you what will happen now when I put this fetch cocktail handler inside useEffect hook, which will run when the component is mounted. So I'm going to say useEffect, and useEffect also, as useCallback, has a similar signature. Come on. So useEffect, and it takes an array of dependencies. And if you, so I'm gonna provide this fetch cocktail handler as a dependency right here, and this will trigger this handler when the component is mounted. And now I can fetch, I can save this, and after it compiles, we're gonna open the browser and the terminal, the console right there, so it's compiled, and let's see what we have right here. So let's inspect, and we will see, if we go to the console, that we have an error, 404 not found. What the heck? Let's see why. All right, I have some problems with my Google Chrome from time to time. Let's see why it's not loading. It should be okay right now. Axios error. Axios error. Let's see. 404 not found. Let's see, maybe we have a typo somewhere. Oh, I see why. Because we have to put HTTPS right here. Just like this. And now it will fetch the data for us. Let's see, let's reload. Come on. Right, let's inspect. And let's open the console. And now we have an object right here. Which has key of drinks, which is an array with one element. Okay, so we can use this drinks key to populate our data right here. So I can say set data to equal set data, and then we can say response dot data dot drinks, and that way our array will be filled with that element that we have right here, which is this whole object thing right here. All right, and what we're gonna do now is actually I'm gonna do the following. I don't want to use the the console all the time. So I'm gonna copy this link right here, and I'm gonna paste it inside my browser because I want to close this, and I wanna see the data right here inside the browser. And we see that we have this, the same thing that we got in the console. Okay, right now we are fetching the data and we are setting our state with the data. But what happens when we are fetching data? We are loading. So what we can do, we can say if we have loading state, we can say return, let's say we put an h2, and we'll say loading ... Now when I save this and we go back to the browser, for a fraction of a second we'll see loading appearing right here when the data is being fetched. Alright, so let's do that. However, we don't see it because I want to delete also everything inside app.css. So let's do this. Delete everything inside app.css. And it should work now. You see? We see loading right here for a fraction of a second. And that way the data is being fetched. And now, after we have the data, let's display that inside the browser. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the following. So inside this div with the class name of app, let's have another div right here. Actually, we can directly do data. So we can say data.map because it's an array. And here we will have a cocktail, and we will return a div. All right, so we're gonna return a div, and inside this div we'll have an image. So I'm gonna say image. All right, and this div will have a key. Whenever we iterate over an array, we have to provide a unique key, and that key will be cocktail.id drink right here. So let's copy this key right here and come back and provide this unique key. So I'm going to say cocktail.id drink, and right here we could say source, and the source of this image will be this one, which is str drink temp right here. So I'm going to copy this source and I'm going to paste it for the image source right here, and we're going to also provide an alt tag because Visual Studio Code is complaining. So I'm going to put a hash right here, and we can say cocktail, so cocktail.str drink temp, just like that. All right, and above the image we're going to have an h2 which is going to say cocktail dot, I believe it was str drink. Let's do this. So cocktail.str drink, and below we'll have a button. So I'm going to say button, and this button will be saying get another drink, get another cocktail. All right, get another cocktail, and when we click on this button we'll fetch the data again. So I'm going to say on click, and that will be equal to this method we created, fetch cocktail handler. So we're going to execute this, fetch cocktail handler, just like that. And with that, I think our UI will be ready, and we're gonna have to style it a little bit to make it prettier. So let's compile this and let's open the browser once again. Let's see what we have right here. Yeah, we have an image and a heading, the name of the cocktail right here, and we have a button. Let's click this button and we can see that we are fetching new data. Isn't this amazing? Look at that, look at that. Okay, let's style this and make this look prettier. Okay, so let's go to app.css right here, and let's first of all, let's say box sizing, border box, padding 0, and margin, come on, padding 0, margin 0, right? And then let's do image width. So the width of the image, let's say we want 300 pixels, height 300 pixels, and we can click and click and click, and we can see that it's fetching. So let's also do div with the class name of app. So we can say app, come on, so app, and we can say display flex, line item center, justify content center. Ah, come on, I want center, not baseline. So center, flex direction column, and we can also do the following. So we have this, we can say height, so we can give a height of this container to be 100 VH, and that way we'll position everything inside the center of the page. After it compiles, it will be here. Yeah. And what we can do now, we can give this div a class name. So I'm going to say class name, and that will be we're going to call this cocktail container. All right, so cocktail container, and for the cocktail container we'll have the same stuff pretty much. So cocktail just like that, and save, and let's see what we have. Right now we can see that we see everything in the center and one below each other. So let's also style the button right here. So let's say button. I'm gonna give this button a background of red, color of white, font size, let's say 22 pixels, outline none, and border none, just like that. And let's save, and we can also give this a margin of 20 pixels, top and bottom, and 0 left and right. Let's save right now and let's see what we have. Yeah, we see the button, but let's give also padding. So padding of 10 pixels and save. And we can see the button has a nice shape, and we can click and we can get another drink pretty fast. All right, this is cool. Also, maybe we can give this image a border. Let's say border of 1 pixel solid red. All right, let's see. Yeah, another cocktail. Look at that. Look at that. Looks amazing. You just learned how to fetch data using useEffect and Axios and useCallback with React.js. How was it? I hope you liked this video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of that content in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys.